guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to be showing you how I made this top. It is so gorgeous and it works up very quickly because, as you can see, it uses mesh stitch and you can literally make it any length you want, long sleeve, short sleeve, all the way down to your ankle, wherever you want it. So yeah, let me show you how I make this top. For this tutorial, what you need is weight for yarn, and you can use as many colors as you'd like, but the process is the same, so you can also just use one color if you prefer. You'd also need the scissors, a 4.5mm hook, a darning needle, and some stitch markers. To begin, you make a slip knot. Then what you're going to do is you're going to chain the length of your shoulders from one to the next, a chain that's long enough to fit it. And you have to also chain in multiples of 3. In total, I did 72 chains, and what we're going to do is we're going to work up to actually make the front panel of the top. To begin row 1, what you're going to do is we're going to make single crochet all the way until we reach the end. To make a single crochet, you insert your hook into the second chain from the loop, insert, yarn over, pull up one loop, and yarn over with the last loop. And we're going to keep on making single crochets all the way until we reach the end of the panel. I've come to the end of row 1 where we did single crochet all the way until the end, and here is where we're going to change the color if you do choose to change the color. However, just continue on without cutting the yarn or changing the color or anything if you do not want to change the color. So with changing the color, you always leave the last 2 stitches on the hook, then you grab your next color that you'd want to change it to. And what we're going to do is we're going to finish off the single crochet stitch that we just made. So you get your hook, yarn over, and you pull through the last 2 loops, and that's how you change the color. Now what we're going to do is we're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, then we're going to turn our work. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to skip 2 stitches. So this is 1 stitch here and this is the next one, and we're going to make a double crochet into the 3rd stitch here. So you yarn over, insert your hook, and I usually bring the tail with me, over, yarn over, pull up 1 loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over, pull through the last 2 loops. That's how you make a double crochet. Next, we're going to chain 2, 1, 2. We're going to keep making that all the way until the end. Then I'll meet you guys so you know what to do. 1, 2. This is how it's looking so far. And here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the yarn of the working yarn I was working with, and then when we're finished, we'll darn in all the ends that we have. So this is it. You're going to continue making double crochet all the way until the end. I'm going to do a double crochet in the last one, then I'm going to change the color once again. So like I said, you leave the last 2 stitches on the hook, then you grab your next color. If you're not changing color, do not worry about this step. What I'm going to do is going to pull through with the yarn of the last 2 stitches. What we're going to do now is we're going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we're going to turn our work. We're going to skip 2 stitches here, then we're going to insert a treble crochet inside this stitch here. So to make a treble crochet, you yarn over twice, you insert a hook in this loop, yarn over, pull up 1 loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over, pull through the last 2 loops once again. So I'll do that one more time. We're going to chain 2 after doing that treble crochet stitch. So yarn over twice, insert, pull up 1 loop, yarn over, pull up 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Chain 2, and we're going to keep on making that same sequence where we do treble crochet, chain 2, and then keep on making that all the way until the end of the row. So I'm coming up to the last stitch once again, yarn over twice, and I'm going to insert here into the 3rd stitch. So if you count it, 1, 2, well, I'm going to insert my hook into this one. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to change the color once again, leaving the last 2 stitches on the hook, get my color, then I'm going to pull through the last 2 loops with the new color. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to chain 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, turn our work. Then we're going to make a double crochet treble stitch into the next stitch. So what we're going to do is yarn over 3 times this time, 1, 2, 3, insert your hook into this loop, yarn over, pull up 1, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 again, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over, pull through 2 again. Then we're going to chain 2. Then we're going to keep on making double crochet treble along the chain. Yarn over 3 times, yarn over, pull through 1, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2, and pull through 2 again, chain 2, and keep on making that all the way until the end of the chain, and then I'll meet you guys when you change the color again. Coming up to the last stitch once again, we're going to insert our hook into the third chain, so 1, 2, then insert it here. Remember to always leave the last 2 stitches so you can change the color. This is what row 4 looks like. Now we're going to move on to row 5, so grab the next color. So for row 5, what you're going to do is you're going to attach the next color. Then what we're going to do is we're going to chain 2, then we're going to turn our work and we're going to make single crochet all the way along without leaving any gaps like these first 3 rows here. So I'll show you what I mean. So attach the color. Next, we're going to make half double crochet stitches all the way until the end of the row. When it comes to these gaps, you're going to make 2 half double crochet inside the gap. 1, 2. Next, we're going to continue to make half double crochet stitches into the next stitch. And then we're going to make 2 inside this gap here once again. Keep making that all the way until the end of the row, and then I'll meet you guys once again when we change the color. I've reached the last stitch now. Once again, I'm going to change the color. This is it. This is what you should look like after row 5. Change the color. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then for this row, it's going to be the same sequence that we did for row 2. Turn your work. Then we're going to make a double crochet into this stitch here. Chain 2. Skip 2 stitches. 1, 2, then we're going to insert our hook into this stitch here. Keep on doing that all the way until you reach the end. Coming up to the end once again, and as you can see here, there's one more stitch here that I didn't go in. Do not worry about that because it doesn't really need to be perfect, the ends. So I'm going to grab my next color. And like I said, guys, this process is honestly the same compared to the first 4 rows that we did. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's honestly the same sequence that I'm using when it comes to the next stitches. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep working that up until you have the exact length that you want, whether it be underneath your bust, whether it be at your waist, whether it be all the way down to your ankle, wherever it is that you want it to be. That's how long and how many rows you would make. So I'll see you guys when I get to my desired length. So just finished doing the second panel. Now I'm going to show you the next step, which is attaching everything together and then adding the arms. So what you're going to do is you're going to count the same amount of stitches on one side as the same as the next, and you're going to make a stitch marker so then we can attach both panels together. I'll show you a video of what I mean. So after measuring how long or short I may want the shoulders to be, I decided that I'm going to do 7 stitches from each end of this row that we have here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then the stitch above that one, which should be here, that's where I'm going to mark my stitch marker. There we are. And to ensure that it's the same measurement on this side, I'm also going to count 7 stitches. You can also count the half double crochet stitches to make sure that it's even, if that works better for you. So I'm going to count 18 stitches from this end and then attach my stitch marker. That is it finished. Now we're going to get our second panel, and we're going to use the stitch marker and attach them so that they both connect, because I'm going to be slip stitching the shoulders together. So I'm going to show you this side because I've already attached this side together. So I'm going to count the same amount of stitches I did for this panel with this panel so that it's equal. This is it finished. Both sides finished. Now I'm going to attach the shoulders together using slip stitch. So first we're going to make a slip knot, then we're going to attach it to the hook, then now we're going to make a slip stitch to connect the ends together. Insert the hook. So now we're going to yarn over, pull through one loop, then we're going to pull through the last loop, and that's how you make a slip stitch. Insert your hook into the loop, insert your hook on the other side, then yarn over and pull through all the loops at one time. So you're just going to keep on making slip stitches all the way until you reach your stitch marker. Then I'll meet you guys when you get there. And I didn't remember to mention, but when it comes to attaching the yarn for the shoulders, I'd recommend you use the same color that you ended with to attach the yarn. If you didn't use a different color, then do not worry about that part. So I've come to the end now. What you're going to do is I'm going to remove the stitch marker, and I'm going to make a slip stitch in that same stitch, chain 1 and cut my yarn. That's the first side finished. Now we're going to repeat the same steps on this side, and then I'll meet you guys for the next section. This is both shoulder side finished and sewn together. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys how you attach the arms. To do the arms, what I'd first recommend is you try what you have on so far, and then you can kind of judge and sense how you'd want it to look on you. So I just tried mine on I'm going to go from this stitch all the way down onto here. That's how far I'll attach it. But remember that the length that you have here is going to be the same length as the arms going down, depending on how short or how small you want it. But just remember that this length here stays the same regardless of how long or short you make your top. So I'm going to go from here, this row here, and I recommend you go from the half double crochet row as well when it comes to attaching the yarn, as it's just easier for me personally to start from. You're going to slip stitch all the way down here, and you're going to do the same thing on the other side, slip stitch all the way down, and then I'll meet you guys when we're finished with that part. To make it a little bit easier, you can always add a stitch marker so you know where you end and where you start. But like I said, I decided to make it that it's a half double crochet row that I start with when it comes to attaching, so I wouldn't really have that issue of knowing where my stitch may start or where I need to go for each side. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how to attach the arms together. So you grab your yarn, after you make a slip knot, you attach it to the hook, grab your yarn, then you go inside the stitch on both sides, both panels, then you yarn over and you pull through both loops. That's how you make it. Now you're just going to keep on making slip stitches all the way till the end of where you mark your stitch or wherever you want to end for the connection. And with this, it might be a bit fiddly when it comes to attaching the yarn, but try to go inside an actual stitch rather than inside the gaps. So yeah guys, keep on making slip stitches all the way until you reach where you want your arms to be. So I just finished slip stitching these together, as you can see here. Now I'm going to chain one, then I'm going to cut my yarn. You're going to repeat the same steps that you did on this side to the next side. Also, when it comes to attaching the sides together, it does not have to be perfect. You can see here that mine isn't per se in line with everything in terms of, you know, the dark blue here, it's a bit wiggly woggly, whatever it may be. Just ensure that it's attached, to be honest. It doesn't really have to be perfect. So just finish attaching everything together in terms of the ends. This is one end finished, just attached, and then this is the other end just attached. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you do the arms. So first you have to turn your top inside out. When I mean inside out is that the stitch here, this is where we attach the slip stitch. You can see that it looks neater on this side compared to how it looks on this side where it's kind of bulky here. So this is the right side that I'm speaking about. So you turn your top inside out, and this is what you have now. So first, what you're going to do is you're going to get the same color that you use for the half double crochet row is what I recommend you use, because we're going to start the arms by doing a half double crochet. So first you make a slip knot, then you attach the yarn to the hook. And what we're going to do is we're going to get our top, and the same corner where you see it attached here, where you attached, is where you're going to insert. Inside the gap itself, you're going to yarn over, make a slip stitch to attach the yarn, then we're going to chain 2. Now we're going to make half double crochet stitches all the way around to make the first row of the arm. So what we're going to do is I'm going to yarn over, and in that same gap here that I have, I'm going to make a half double crochet stitch. Next, we're going to make a half double crochet in this hole here that we have. So what it is that you want to do is you're going to make half double crochet stitches inside the gap itself, and when you get to a half double crochet row, you make one half double crochet on the actual stitch here. I'll show you what I mean. So the gap is here. I'm going to fill the gap with half double crochet stitches until I think it's enough. It doesn't have to be equal or perfect. So I just did 3 inside this hole. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 1 here, 1 half double crochet. Then in this one, I did 3 in this hole here. So I might maybe do 4 or 5 in this one here. 5. So I decided to do 5 inside this hole here. Next, I'm going to make a half double crochet in this stitch here. So you're going to keep on making half double crochet stitches all the way around, and I'll meet you when you get to the end. So all the way around until you get to the other side. So I just finished doing the arm here. As you can see, the first row finished. When it comes to the arms, you're going to use the same sequence that you did for the body to attach it together. So as you can see here, we did half double crochet as the first row, then we did a double crochet, then we did a treble, then we did a double crochet, treble crochet. And what you're going to do is, for the same thing for the arms, that's the same sequence we're going to use in terms of, now we just did a half double crochet row, then we're going to do a double crochet, then we're going to do a treble crochet, then a double crochet, treble crochet. I know it's a lot, but it's the same sequence that you use for the body, for the arms, and you're going to keep building that up until you have the desired length that you'd want for your arms. When you guys get to the end, as you can see here, what you're going to do, instead of you changing the color on the last 2 stitch, I didn't remember to mention, what you do is you finish off the stitch regularly. Then what you're going to do is chain 1, cut your yarn, and then attach the yarn inside the gap here itself, and continue on as if you were working with it still. So I just finished doing this row, as you can see. So what I was mentioning was that inside this gap here, you're going to attach the yarn. Then I'm going to chain 5 because based on the next row that I'm going to be doing, I'll be doing a treble crochet, and I usually chain 5 before going to that one. So I'm going to chain 5, and then I keep working around all the way around until I reach the end. Then I'm going to slip stitch, connect the ends, chain 1, cut the yarn, and then I'm going to keep on working that up. And you're going to repeat the same thing on the other side with the same arm by first attaching the yarn, chaining 2, then you do half double crochet for the first row, and you keep building that up until you have the same amount of length on this side as you have on this side. Once you have finished doing the sleeves, I haven't finished here, but I'm just saying what you're meant to do when you finish. Once you finish doing the sleeves, then what you're going to do is you're going to darn in all the ends that you have, cut your yarn, and then you'll be finished with your top. So this is what your top should be looking like when you finish, depending on how you've made it in terms of the length, the colors, whatever. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I just want to say that we're going into July. Well, we're probably already in July, but I just want to say that whatever goals you've set for yourself, whatever things that you wanted to do, it's not too late, and it's never too late to come back to God. He always has an open arms ready for you. Yeah, never too late. Never too late. So I just want to say, I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I hope you enjoy your tops. You can send me on Instagram, it's here, if you do want to send me pictures of you wearing it, or you can tag me as well if you'd like. I would love for you to tag me, no pressure. But this is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one. I love you guys. Jesus loves you even more. Bye guys.